Guys, the time has finally come. I'm here to analyze Chapter 4 trailer. I know I'm about 15 hours later, but that's irrelevant. And, guys, without wasting more time, let's jump straight to the video. Alright, first thing I need to say is that I recommend you to go watch the trailer because I won't play it in here. I will just slow it down so I can analyze it. So if you want to see the trailer, go on. The link is in the description. I will give you 6 seconds. Have you seen the trailer? Good. So, let's begin. The trailer opens with the scene from Mascot Mayhem. We see the player descending down in the elevator, and this will be the transition scene from Zone 2 to Zone 3. Then, the elevator arrives to the production factory, and we can see some clouds transporting clones of Joy Gang members. And these clouds will work as a trap through Zone 3. In this same scene, we can hear Beers saying, "Where are we?" I personally think that this voice line will be used in Mascot Mayhem Zone 3 or at the beginning of Barley. I think it would really suit both levels too well, but this is probably a Mascot Mayhem voice line. Moving on, we can see the exterior of Torment Therapy, and it seems that this will be the introduction to the level. And interesting to notice is that this will be the first level with the big, and I mean a big outside area. We had Deadly Decadence and Crazy Carnival in the past, but those outside areas were too small. But I will touch in this theme of outside areas later in the video. Now we can see an amplified view of the Joyland Castle. And Jesus, this is looking good. Just the attention to detail is crazy. Well, in here we can see that the castle has some flames on the top of some towers. I think that they are just for aesthetic and they won't be like, oh, the castle is burning down, you need to be fast. And yeah, it's just that. A second later we can also see a firework coming to the sky and then exploding. And because of it, I think this part of the level is the introduction. And as we were saw in this image, Malik was talking in the background, and he said, now we can get to know each other a little better.
Let's see what
horrors lies in the brain of yours. Shall we? And I have a theory about this voice line. 1 or 2 years ago we got some voice lines from Chapter 4, and in one of them it looks like Malik entered the ballroom to have a little talk with the player, and I think that this voice line will happen in this moment. Well, moving on, we can see what appears to be the cabin from Barley, and this is looking also very good. The light, the textures, it's just all perfect. Well, after this, we get a scene where the player is walking to a wall with a hole in it. And by the look of it, this will be a transition scene from the cabin to the caves, or in the cabins there will be some tunnels that we will have to use to escape enemies or get soul shards. We can see after that this beauty of a scene of the player walking through the cave, and I think that this won't be a part of Zone 3 or Zone 2, just because it's too bright. And in every best screenshot from Barley, we could see that the caves were very dark and almost didn't have any lighting. Well, after this, the video transitions to a chase between Angry and the player on Mascot Mayhem Zone 2, and we can see a little bit of this zone, but the interesting part is Angry's speed and his smoothness. We already know that Angry was slow, but now we can see how slow it is in game, because it's so that even the player without any powers can outspeed him, and we can already see how good his animation is and how it works as well in the game. After this chase, we can see Lucky and Penny dancing to the Joy Gang theme, when suddenly Lucky stops dancing and starts laughing convulsively. And from here, the trailer just gets a lot crazier. Now, about this scene where they are dancing, it could be just a cutscene normally, or could be something that we'll see in game and then Lucky will become mad and he will chase us. I just don't have any idea. Okay, I mean, I have some idea of what this would be, but no concrete facts to justify my theory. Well, in the next scene, we got the first ever look at Torment Therapy level, and this is so good as well. We can see some doors, I mean a lot of doors, a bed in one side of the hallway, and a lot of details. And as the player runs, we can see two Reaper nurses going after him, and this part is interesting. The nurses start spinning around, and one of them throws the other in the direction of the player and uses her needle to attack. And this just shows how complex the Reaper nurses' AI is. They seem to have a ton of different ways to attack the player, and I'm very excited to see all the different patterns of attack in game. Then we see a gameplay of Zone 2 of Torment Therapy, and I will explain later why this is Zone 2. Another thing to notice is that the Reaper nurses are in frenzy mode because they are all red, covered in blood, and we can see as well a soul shard below the walkway, showing how the mechanic will work in this level, because one of the mechanics of this level will be multiple floors, and we can see here really that happening. Now on to one of the best parts of the trailer. We see a part of Matron boss fight, and the first thing I noticed is that Matron is freaking huge. She's the size of like 2 ambulances, and Jesus, that's a lot already. And we see her with this saw thing that will be most probably her weapon, and she's attacking the ambulances for some reason. And another thing I just noticed are the Reaper nurses chasing after us, and it just looks cool, I have to admit it. Then we can see this scene where Penny is chasing us in a narrow hallway, not much to see here, but the next scene is of Trigger Tetris dragging the player and then staying on top of us. And this looks a lot like the no context screenshot that we got some time ago. And this scene where the Trigger Tetris drag us, it could be very well a cutscene, at least this looks like it. And after this scene we can see a fire trap from what seems to be a secret room in Torment Therapy. And after that scene we can see the player running in the path of bones, looking like a screenshot we got in the past of Barley. And we can also see the Trigger Teddies in game chasing after us, and they are so small. This level would be impossible. If the clowns in Crazy Carnival were bad because they were small, imagine these Trigger Teddies. They are almost invisible, and they blend so well with the scenario. We got what seems to be an introduction to Reaper nurses. This will probably be a cutscene, and after this we got freaking Motherbear with her Trigger Teddies chasing after the player, and she's huge. We know that she's around 2 meters, around 6 feet, but seeing her here chasing us with her arms open like she wants to give us a hug is just terrifying. Also her eyes are glowing, and I don't know why. I'm just going to go into it. Now we can see a little of Zone 1 of Mascot Mayhem. We can see Lucky stand, the camera light, and most importantly a little bit of the map. I have to admit it is a little bit strange, but either way it looks cool. Moving on, we got the first look at the telepathy ability, and we see that a blue field is formed around the player that grabs the shard for us. And in this same scene we have Torment Therapy Center written in the walls, and for me this shows that this is Zone 2, just because of the color palette that is very different from Zone 1, and is very similar to that scene where we can see a Reaper nurse in the pathway that I talked earlier in the video. We can also see some saw traps and some shards also in the background. Moving on, we have some Mascot Mayhem Zone 3 gameplay with Angry chasing us. Good to notice that he's in frenzy mode, but aside from that, we don't have much to see here. And finally, we got the scene where Malik is standing there, waiting for Joy Kill to be created. We can see a red light forming, but then it cuts out to the 4, and a second later we can hear Joy Kill saying that he's back.
I'm back!
And his voice looks very similar to Lucky's. And my theory is that at some point of the level we destroy Lucky, but Malik decides to bring him back to stop us from escaping, and Joy Kill could be just an enhanced version of Lucky and maybe fused with the other members of Joy Joy Gang. Then it would make sense why the voice line is there. But this is just my theory. And lastly, we see what must be a secret room in Barley Barrier. As in it, we see some Motherbear customs, and that's very interesting because this means that Motherbear is not like a real stuffed bear, it's just something inside a custom. And we can see even that the stomach that her suit have is fake as well, showing us that even that isn't her true self. Another thing I noticed is that the costume don't have any claws in the hands, and this shows that the only real part of Motherbear are her claws and the rest are just a costume. And this maybe mean that the Barley Bear boss fight could be Motherbear without her suit, her true self. But we'll have to wait to see. Hi guys, it's me from the future, and while I was making the video I didn't notice that the Steam page from that session got some new image screenshots, and I will be passing them on screen now. They're interesting indeed, especially that one with the purple lightning of Barley Barrier. It's very interesting. I now will go and finish the video, but this was just something I noticed while editing everything up. Alright, bye. And just like that, I end this video. We are 2 days away from chapter 4, and this trailer did an amazing job of putting the hype high up there, and it also shows us what we can really expect from these 3 levels, and I honestly cannot wait to play. So guys, I will see you tomorrow with what could be the last quick Dark Deception update video, for chapter 4 of course, or maybe not, we'll have to wait and see. So, goodbye guys.